Okay, so it's all right. It's Farah versus. Okay, so the very first thing, the very first thing I want to see. Okay, um, a hit scan, a hit scan when recontesting, when jumping into a Farah without map control, you need to be extremely careful.
Okay.
Okay, because usually how this game works, right? You have tanks that make a
Yeah.
space,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have healers, right? Or sorry, you have DPSs
Yeah.
that contest the space, right?
Yeah.
Tanks make a space, DPSs contest a space, and healers. What the healers do is basically elongate the fight as much as needed, right? Until they die, right?
Yeah.
So the idea, if obviously if you are 200 HP, you cannot just go out right in the Wild West and tank everything with the chest, right? Because you are not suited for that thing.
Exactly.
So usually how this works is the tank makes the space for you and then you contest it. The thing is, Pharah can damage your tanks in a way that you cannot have a line of sight to shoot at her.
Yeah.
Right? For example, what we spoke the other yesterday about Pharah, right? That you are on top of a structure. There is no line of sight directly against you, but you are dealing damage to the tanks, so you prevent those tanks from moving forward. A lot of hitscans, what they do is just they go wild and they say, okay, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to coin flip this, right? And I'm going to just roll in three shot the Farah and kill her, right?
Yeah.
You, if you miss, you go down. If you hit her, you go down and they rest the Farah, usually, right? So it's not needed, right? So the thing here is you need to be extremely patient, okay?
Okay.
This for example, you see that you're going out first, right?
Yeah.
Right. This is the perfect example of going out as in the Wild West. Because in this Farah right now, his awareness is not the best one ever. Because she should be shooting, right? She should be taking care of the hit scan. When you play against a good Farah, it's like Farah is and Widow are those kind of heroes that are called specialists
Yeah.
because the way or the heroes that counters them, the best hero that counters in them in the game is the same hero,
True.
right?
Yeah.
The best hero for the best counter for Farah is a Farah that kills her. It's a better Farah. The best counter for a Widow is another Widow, a better Widow, right?
Yeah.
So when you play as a Farah, or for example, because I can tell you because I have like insane amount of hours in Farah, you always keep in your mind, keep in your head, like, okay, they have a hit scan, and like one square in your head is always asking yourself, where is the hit scan? Is he dead? Right? So
Yeah.
you always keep him in check. If it was me, this far, I will realize, okay, the hit scan just cross. Whatever, I kill the tank. It doesn't matter, but I need
Yeah.
to take care of the hit scan, right? And you here, you will get concussed. You will get blasted here, so you will get pulled and probably died. You see how like all of this is such it feels like an animation movie because they don't know where you are. You realize
Yeah.
that you're literally you're literally walking around the enemy team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't know where you are. They don't keep track. They don't keep track of you.
Yeah.
In a situation like this, you can use this as in your favor. You know, like you shoot her, which is good. I mean, if you hit this shot, obviously.
Yeah. It would be
Uh,
that. Yeah. That
but
wasn't
here,
a good day for aiming.
the moment this happens, the moment this happens, that they go away, etc. You don't like you're tunnel visioning on her, but you don't stop and look. What's the current state of this?
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Are we winning? Are we losing? Right? What can we? Because right now, one thing that you can do is to. Oh, what happened with? Oh, okay, that was weird. To hide. Right now, this part, she's getting shot at, but she doesn't know where.
Away from,
Where
yeah.
from, right? So instead of just keep going at her with the element of surprise gone, which is way difficult that you killed this Farah right now. Hide, hide because they don't know where you are, and you wait for a reset when the tanks are pushing. Okay, let me know when you're about to push. You go out, for example, from this house behind you,
Yeah.
right, and shoot the Farah.
So we say if we go back to the same position where I was, like where we paused, like where I tunnel vision on the house, can I
Hmm.
go back down to the mini and like wait
Yeah,
there, or like in the house with the other mini?
yeah. For example, I mean, the best thing will be go to the mini, but as long as you hide,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what matters is when they push like this again, you're coming from behind and you're going to kill the Farah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good advice actually.
Okay. This is for example what happens right with and this is why a lot of people say, and I agree with them obviously, that a hit scan is not necessarily a Farah counter.
Yeah. I've
Three
been
men, three
saying
three
that too.
people are dead before you take your first shot. Obviously, you're going to kill her, right? But
Yeah.
the point is, you never stood a chance about stopping her. This is not a fair fight between her and you because she plays in a way, she can play in a way where no line of sight is established, and it's really like annoying for you because at the end of the day, you're a hit scan and you know that you can kill her.
Yeah.
That there is so many buildings and so many squares and sorry, corners, and there is so many shit
And the
that
goddamn mercy pocket.
and the mercy pocket. Yeah. So the only thing that you can do, literally the only thing that you can do is or rely that your team does a rotation correctly, or you need to fake. How do you fake?
Yeah. Can you explain that? They're curious actually.
You can stand here in the middle, for example.
So like when my team goes in,
What
I'm just
exactly?
standing there.
Stand here. What are the risks? The risks are you can get pulled. Like
Yeah.
every single moment when you take the decision of standing alone in a team environment, they can punish you for that. Just by standing alone means that you are weak, especially as Mcree.
Yeah.
But this is a surprise move. This is not something that you could do in solo queue. In solo queue, you will try to cross on your own and then shoot at the Pharah, right? But here, the thing that you want is try to cover the rotation as much as you can, which means that if you, for example, the team is going to do this, and you stand here, for example,
Yeah.
there is direct line of sight. Obviously, the bridge is in the middle, but you're playing in a position where you can cover the transition. The problem then is how am I going to transition myself?
Yeah.
True, but but this is, for example, a position where you can kill a Pharah. If you kill the Pharah, then is when you roll, right, or try to stop the mercy or whatever.
Yeah.
You can even suicide for this. For example, I don't know. Let's say that you kill the Pharah right on top of the bridge. The
Yeah.
volley drops, right? The mercy
Mm-hmm.
drops and tries to rest. You roll, flashbang her, kill her, and then you die. 2 for 1, and that's a fair trade.
Isn't that like a high risk, high reward play?
It's a high risk, high reward. Yes.
Yeah. I think I have something like for that. I tried to do like I try to play like a high risk, high reward style, but sometimes it doesn't work.
The thing here is, if you're going to usually the if you're going to do this, if you're going to do this high risk, high reward play,
Yeah.
usually you go Hanzo.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Because Hanzo is way more independent, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you approach a choke point, you always actually I'm going to change. When you approach a choke point, you always need to see the choke point as a bottleneck,
Okay.
right? I always use two examples, right? They are weird, okay? They are weird, but I hope they are graphic enough for you to understand the
Mm-hmm.
power of choke points, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is The 300 movie. Do you remember or have you seen the 300 movie?
No, I haven't.
When they hold the corridor.
Exactly. Or have you ever heard of the legend of the Spartans?
Yeah,
Never.
sometimes.
The 300 Spartans.
Uh,
Right.
you have the same like scene in like the Immortal movie when they hold in the corridor.
Yeah,
I think they yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I
So
seen it.
the point is right. The that battle that was
Yeah,
obviously a legend is the first choke point battle in history. Right. The At the end of the day, Overwatch didn't invent anything. Right. The
yeah.
concepts from war or ancient and modern war
Mhm.
are in the game, but instead, for example, instead of the Second World War, right, and the Blitzkrieg,
Yeah.
you have a monkey with a jetpack. But the concept is the same thing, like the ability of a fast fight, right? Because the Blitzkrieg is in this game is called dive,
yeah,
right? And the same thing happens with this, like the choke point battle, right? Um, the 300 were the first one in order to carry on that strategy. In fact, the way they die, and this is a lesson that cannot be applied to Overwatch, is because yeah, the other guys got told that a secret path led to the mountains, blah blah blah. They opened them up. They opened them up. They simply opened them up. There was only one lane, and now they had three, so they could open them up, take the sidelines, and surround the middle
Surround
lane.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what I use this example for is exactly the same thing. If you have problems going after a choke point, right, you can always open them up. This means that if you're having troubles with this pick, you need to find a pick that does other things.
Okay.
For example, how do you do it? A Sombra, right?
Yeah.
Tracer. Those heroes that are liquid, and this ties with the second example, right? The heroes that are liquid are the heroes that play fast, right? The heroes that ignore choke point. The second example is imagine that you have a bottle of water
Yeah.
and you empty that water in a sink violently, right? Like the water is going to bounce around, but eventually go down to the sewer. When the water is wild and bouncing around, right, the water is free. But when it goes down to the sewer, the water gets trapped,
Yeah.
right? And it's not about how liquid the water is; it's about how thick the sewer is, right? And then when they get out of the sewer and go into the sea, the water is free again. This
Yeah.
is literally what a choke point does to a composition that plays fast. For example, dive,
Okay.
right? The dive compositions can be as liquid as possible as you can imagine, but the moment you are forced through a bridge, through a door, through a tiny choke point, doesn't matter how fast again you can dash or how long a Winston can jump. Because imagine if I put a Reinhardt in the middle of a door, how can you go past it with dive? You can't. You literally can't, right?
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the game, a lot of people thought, hey, if I play Winston and I play dive, Reinhardt cannot do anything because I jump past him, I ignore him.
Yeah.
He's so slow, he's so rusty, he's so right. He arrives always late. By the time that he arrives, I always kill, and he has a hammer, so he's not a threat for us.
Yeah.
But then with time, people realize, okay, what happens if instead of playing like this and waiting for the Winston to jump at me or to ignore me, what happens if I go to a choke point and I pressure him? And people realize, okay, then I have a hammer in a super tiny space, and this Winston cannot go past me. And people realize, hey, this is how to counter dive with a Reinhardt, or this is how you counter a monkey going in, right? So the choke points in this game are extremely important because they allow you to do multiple things, right? The first one is this one. For Afara, it creates so much pressure that you playing what is supposed to be a direct counter, you have no choice, no chances of winning. So how do you do this, right? That you have two ways of dealing with a Pharah. You either play the same hero, which is you go Pharah, or you play something, right, that ignores choke points. For example, Tracer, for example, Sombra, for example, right? Because
Yep.
then the power of this comp that you're, oh, the power of this comp that you're playing, realize that all of these heroes, actually all of them, all of their ultimates are AoE, right? You have Flux, which is AoE. You have the Barrage, which is AoE. You have the Valkyr, which is AoE. You have the Bongo, which is AoE. You have the Window, which is AoE, and then you have the Dragon, which is AoE.
What do you mean with AOE? Is it just like a
AoE
Area
is
of
short or?
effects.
area of effect,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. True. Uh,
right? So the problem with this is you're playing a comp, right? Look at the problems. You're first of all you're playing a comp that rotates like six. You're playing a comp that goes through a choke point altogether a six, and then you play a comp that goes a six, goes through a choke point against spam. You see these problems, right? You're
yeah.
basically being funneled into the slaughterhouse. Even if you have speed, this doesn't matter
Okay.
because your composition, the range of your composition, right, is really low. What you want to do with this composition is you want to get as close to them as possible,
Yeah.
correct? So you can describe your composition as we want to go from A, which is for example our spawn,
Yeah.
to B, which is target I want to kill, right?
Yeah.
In this transition, your team is useless. The only thing that you're going is like you are a turtle fighting, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to move forward but the thing is the longer this is, the more time you are under transition.
Okay.
Which means that this is for your composition right now. Transitioning is your weak spot. If they play super far away like this, where you cannot reach them, this means that you cannot walk straight towards them, and you need to go left. And the more transition period you have, the more rotations you do, the more time they have to build ultimates to spam you, to get picks, and to kill you.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct? The problem, what's the problem? The problem is before a couple patches ago, you could play Rush. This is called a Rush comp. You could play this into spam because shields
Goes better.
were heavy enough. They have
Yeah.
enough HP to help you cover the gap and protect you cover in the gap. But right now, shields are so weak that spam destroys them before they are useful enough and helps you cover the gap. Which means that in the middle of a rotation, if the rotation is long, you're going to be naked. You're going to get naked and you die. And if the
Yeah.
rotation is short, they can answer that rotation with a counter rotation, making the distance equally long again.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Which means that is but with all I'm saying here is obviously to understand, so for you to understand what's the relationship, but also that you realize that you are fucked in the ass because
Mhm.
you are always going to be rotating, forced to rotate because of the nature, forced to rotate. You cannot play shields, okay? As a main tank, your main tank, when he faces a situation, he always has, right? He always has three options, okay?
Yeah.
Always. You can rush, you can play shield, or you can rotate.
Yeah.
With the composition that you have, you can't rush because the distance is too long. You cannot play shield because you don't have spam damage, not more than them. So the only option available is rotation. Rotation against Farah Hanzo is extremely dangerous because again shields are no long good. Which means right now the answer to this is either switching a composition, switching your pick, or switching a composition.
Okay. What would you suggest us to switch to in this situation? Because you see how we're just getting picked off one by one here.
The composition that you're playing against, um, if I remember correctly, this is Orisa, Sigma, Farah,
Yeah,
Hanzo, Mercy, Baptiste,
bad.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
The counter to this, there is a composition that is being played right now, which is extremely powerful and direct counters this is Orisa, Ball, Farah, Tracer, Mercy, Baptiste.
okay, yeah,
Why? Because the moment you have this, and the moment you have this, one of the two techniques that exist in order to kill a Farah Mercy is to go on a target. Usually, the other support, the flex support, you go on the flex support, right? Imagine that Tracer Ball, you go on the flex support.
yeah,
For Mercy, there are two options right here. She can stay with the Farah, or she can help Baptiste. These two options are both of them bad because it
yeah,
doesn't matter which target she picks, the other target dies.
yeah. Because then she leaves the Pharaoh alone, so the other Pharaoh can 1v1 her.
1v2
And
because you have
yeah,
Mercy.
yeah, with the Mercy, yes, sure, yeah,
And then if she stays with the Farah, Baptiste dies.
yeah,
And then you go for the other target, and then it's the same thing. Instead of Baptiste, now it's Hanzo. And it's the same thing. Do you heal the Hanzo or do you keep the Farah? At some
yeah,
point, the Mercy is
true.
going to kill someone.
But that's pretty bug actually, yeah,
So the situation here is right. The counter to this is dive, pure dive. But the problem is players are not used to play dive,
since that,
right?
yeah,
So right now the meta is in the right now the meta is extremely shaky
mm-hmm,
and it's constantly evolving because there is one Trinity, the Holy Trinity. This is not the name, right? It's just me just being
yeah,
sarcastic.
yeah,
But
the
the
Holy
Holy
Trinity.
Trinity is something I think I explained on the video, which is um, you have three different compositions. You have spam in terms of concepts, okay?
Yeah,
You have a spam, you have dive, and you have death wall, right? So in a perfect environment, this composition, the relationship that these compositions have is you have spam here,
mm-hmm,
then you have dive, and then you have death wall. And spam will counter death wall will counter dive, and dive will counter spam. And right now, this happens, which is or team environment speaking, and this is something that I thought I will never say. This is this is the consequence of balance being correct.
correct. Okay, huh?
The moment you have a death ball that kills a spam, you have a problem because then it means that something is wrong,
Yeah,
right? But this is I want to believe that this is the core of Overwatch. Overwatch was a game designed to switch constantly, right?
yeah,
And the current state of the meta right now, this is like this. People usually they pick one of those three because you need to start with one of those three.
yeah,
And for example, the players you are playing against, they chose spam. And right now you're playing a death ball, and you realize how you have no chances of doing anything.
yeah,
because this is the direct counter. But if you play dive, right? If you play dive, you're going to realize, obviously, you play dive to the degree they are playing a spam, you will realize that it's so easy to counter spam. The problem is people are so rusty on dive heroes. This is why right now the composition that is being played is this Orisa Ball. This is a semi-dive hybrid hero, hybrid comp, because it's the previous step before going full dive. Why? Because
Okay.
people need to grasp again the Tracer, the Genji, the Ball, the Winston, and the idea of playing extremely fast.
Yeah.
Right? Because for example, it happened to me with my contenders team. Yesterday we play dive and then went diving tanks. And you don't dive tanks, you dive squishy heroes.
Yeah.
Right? And I told him and they realized, and yeah, obviously, why are we diving an Orisa that has a fortify when we can dive a Zenyatta that is
Yeah. Yeah.
But this happens because people are not used to it. It's been a really long time. So right now the counter will be that comp.
Okay.
But with this, it's really, really unlikely. I mean, again, I didn't see the video, but it's really unlikely that you can make it out of here. You see how the barriers don't last. Like your team
Yeah.
cannot rotate. What you do here, oh, I understand that you want to rotate. Sorry, you want to reset, but sometimes again you can. Oh, I mean, they already knew that you were there.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't underestimate the fact that you can hide. Okay, if they
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
where you are. Another option to counter this, for example, will be a split. Since you have had two main tanks, right? But the thing is, you only have one choke point, so that's out of the window. Out of
Yeah.
the.
Okay.
You're kind of splitting here, but you're getting out of. All right.
Now they say like they were going there. So okay.
Oh, this is good. For example, this was more or less what I spoke about at the beginning, like standing uh, hidden or not rotating with your team, etc. So you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. But I think I die here to the back. But
Why do you die here? Look at this.
I'm 91 HP.
But look at your positioning.
I'm
What
positioning very open.
exactly? There is no wall. There
I'm,
is no nothing.
yeah. I'm exposing myself really hard.
What happens if you just play like a Hanzo, for example? Just you're about to pick this corner, and you say, okay, AD,
Yeah. Should I?
shoot,
Yeah.
hide,
Yeah.
until you receive healing. The thing is, you cannot play aggressive. You're not in a position. First of all, you are not in a position of playing aggressive because you don't have a shield, and they do. And secondly, you are 91 HP, so
Yeah.
you are not in a position to play aggressive at all. You just kill the mercy. You just got your value. Right now, they need to push, and you need to play passive until healing comes.
Okay.
Because again, remember that the important thing is that you don't die. If you don't die, then you will always keep, especially as a hit scan, you will always keep shooting.
Yeah.
And the reason you won here, if you think it deeply, is finally with a rotation you were able to reach them.
Yeah.
Here you are being extremely naive. You kill the fire now, and you know that the other team is set up towards the left, right?
Yeah.
So if you think it deeply, if we take the top down view, fake and wall, this thing that they did is highly punishable. Why? You kill the Farah and they are playing here.
Yeah.
So what this tells me is that this pathing is free.
There's a go like on a flank behind them.
Not only behind them, you just kill the Farah
Oh, to kill the fairy again.
again. Yes.
It'd be it's point killing.
The thing is, the only reason why Fire Hanzo works, right, is because of the crossfire. Hanzo is in front of you, and Fire is above you, and you cannot stop that crossfire. Obviously, on top of the damage break, right, or the shield break.
Yeah,
But what happens if you remove Fire from the equation?
I get these. Yeah, you get easily with Hanzo.
You can deal with Hanzo, right? You can
Yeah,
rotate against the Hanzo all day long. Well, do it. This is a mistake that you need to punish. You are a Mcree that's going to play here, and Farah needs to go through a choke point. Remember the choke point thing we talked? Doesn't
yeah,
matter how high a Farah can fly, she needs to walk out of here
true. Yeah,
or out of here. And if she walks here, you flash and kill her. If she walks here, she's completely in the open.
true.
And you
Yeah,
are in a position where you can at least, the very, 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 very least, you can buy time for your team and entertain her a bit,
true. Yeah, it's a fact. That's big brain. Yeah,
right? So one of the things that can happen is, in my opinion, what I will do with this is I will play with you here alone, waiting for the para, and then I will place the Reaper at some point below the bridge. Because one of the things that you have, that will has, is um, you can always play a composition towards two ends, right?
yeah,
The first one being kills, and the kills give you the objective, and the second one being playing the objective, and this objective is going to grant you kills. For example, an example of the first one will be dive. With dive, you just speed, go in, pick a target, and you chain kills until no one is left, and then you go on the objective, right?
yeah.
But the second one, example of the second one, could be goats. You just go on the objective, and with the objective, you force a contest, and then you start a brawl where your composition is superior, right? So what Reaper has to do here, right, is just instead of going on top of the tower, which is he has no range here whatsoever. He can right now the Reaper up there cannot do anything. What I will do is just go below them, or on the side, sorry, around behind the bridge, because when the Orisa touches, then is
Mm-hmm.
when the Reaper is going to have a feast. And at the same time, you will be killing this Pharah. Right now, you will have killed this Pharah, which means that you have two options. You can literally spawn camp the Pharah, which means that you kill the Pharah, and then you push inside the castle, and you wait the Pharah here again. Because in this situation, she has no, like, the ceiling is extremely low in this, right?
Yeah,
So you kill this Pharah here, and you go here, and you kill her again. Why? Because the only
she,
reason you run Mcree is to stop the Pharah, right?
yeah, yeah.
In a 5 versus 5, the Reaper can help the team much more than you. Well, just literally trade yourself for the Pharah all day long.
Okay,
We play without a Mcree, but you don't play. You play without a Pharah. Understand
okay.
what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean? And then someone needs to score her. Someone needs to score her
yeah.
out. And the guy that is going to come is going to be Mercy,
Okay,
and you can deal with Pharah Mercy. With
yeah,
with with disadvantage, with positional advantage, you can deal with her. If the guy that comes is Baptiste, Hanzo, or another tank, then is when you need to play safe, try to get the fuck out. But your team is going to have a much better environment on the other way. You know.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
The problem is if you stay here as a death ball, this is what happens. Like eventually, she will come back, she will kill all of you, and then you are back to square one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
All right. That was an interesting move.
Yeah.
Okay, now you just won. Okay, you realize the moment the brawl happens, you win. The moment you cannot complete the rotation, you lose. It's really simple. And the thing is, it's not even close. It is not even close. Who should be doing this is the Lucio.
Yeah, he died.
It's okay. It's okay.
He went for a kill, I think. I don't know. Why?
The problem is this. You're a hit scan. You're a hit scan, right?
Yeah,
That you just want to control the fight and you have the control of the map. You have high noon, so you can set up in a position where you can high noon the enemy team.
yeah,
You're giving that up to push the payload. It's not your job. It's not your responsibility. If Lucio cannot do it because he's dead, then a tank needs to do it,
okay.
right? If Orisa is pushing, then Reinhardt can do it,
Yeah,
right? But you cannot lose for free what you highly fought for to achieve, right?
yeah,
Like this space and this control, and the fact that hey, I have to no longer rotate under a Pharah. Now is the Pharah that needs to jump into this space that Mcree controls. Then is when my team right now my composition now is finally winning, and you just give it that up to push payload. Okay, just press Q, press Q, press Q, press Q. Okay, all right, that's actually winnable. You
yeah.
need
But
to pop off.
we're losing it. Oh yeah, this fucking hell.
I mean, Sigma is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Sigma is what it is. I would have. I watched this like after, and I thought I would. If I would have punched him instead, he would be dead.
This is a hard situation because like you're I guess
I think at least he would be dead. I don't know. I don't like see his HP.
uh it's really the thing here is you could have played this a bit different. First of all, your Hanzo is contesting the point, so you don't need to rush in, right?
Yeah,
Which means that right now you can kill this Hanzo only with primary fire, right? And then you can flashbang
the
the
thief
Sigma.
Sigma. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation. I mean, being 13 HP and the other guy also being 13 HP or 20 HP, something like that. But this is what it is about. This is one of the most beautiful moments in the game when overtime pops and you need to make the $1 million play.
yeah,
Okay. So now this is a bit different. Now you have the control. The problem with Mcree The problem with Mcree is as follows, right? We can we can make we can make a classification of hit scans depending on at what range they are effective, right?
Yeah.
For example, melee range, right, will be tracer.
Yeah.
Melee range to 12, 30 meters now. Then from 7 to 15 meters, you will have Cree, right? Cree 7 meters because this is the max range of the flashbang. 15 meters because this is where the fall of damage starts. Right, so the best area for you to work with is within 7 and 15 meters of the target. Then you have 10 to 25, which will be solid 76. Then you will have again more or less 15 to 30, which will be Ash, and then you have 15 to Infinite, which is Widow.
Yeah.
This also tells you an important thing, which is in this hitscan world, Widow is the queen, right? Widow is the queen,
Yeah.
while facing Ash 76 and Mcree, but Tracer counters Widow, right? As long as Tracer can reach melee range, right?
Yeah.
So the thing here is you are forced with this pick that you're playing, you are forced to play close to your team. And the biggest counter to a Pharah, or the biggest way a hitscan can play, is if the team can make a space by playing forward, and then you are behind in the back line supporting with line of vision.
Okay.
One of the reasons why Mcree is not being played that much is because he is extremely risky because of his range. He's deadly. He makes a lot of damage, yes, but he is so exposed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What should I like? If we swap off the McCree pick and like pick something else, what would it be?
Here, for example, one composition that you can play, if you're going to play double hitscan, it will be double sniper.
Yeah.
But here the best defensive pick is Pharah, and then depending on what type of play you want to do, you have Tracer if you want to play semi-hybrid dive, or if you want to just go full spam is Hanzo. The thing is, right now in the current meta, there is no reason for you to play Mcree while Hanzo is available, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because whatever Mcree does, Hanzo does better. Besides stunning, obviously,
Yeah.
right? But you can Mcree deals 140 at the head. Hanzo deals 300. Hanzo deals a storm arrow, which is way better than Fan of the Hammer. Hanzo can climb, you can't. Hanzo can leap, you can't. Like it's Hanzo is just his kit is just better. Mcree at this point, obviously it's an OG hero and it's about a pistol and being and how good your aim is, but it's outdated. The concept is outdated.
Yeah. So in this case, we will like play a Hanzo Fair as well instead of Hanzo
hmm
McCree.
hmm
Okay.
Why are hitskins bad? Why are hitskins bad in this point? Why do you think hitskins are bad?
Uh,
Right now, what's bothering you from killing this Farah?
say that again.
What is bothering you? What is stopping you from killing this Farah?
The Mercy.
Really?
And no, no, and like she's using the buildings for cover.
The clock tower.
Yeah.
If you think deeply, the first point is an open area with a motherfucking clock tower in the middle.
Yeah.
And what this does is break line of sight.
Yeah.
Just because of these designs, because Farah can just rotate like she's doing right now against you. You go left, she hides and go right. You go right, she hides and go left, while keeping up the damage on tanks.
Yeah.
That's something that you can never do because she's a projectile. She can do blind damage. You need to have line of sight direct line of sight against her. This is why Farah is better than Hitskins here. Because if there is no clock tower, then Widowmaker will be the queen of this point.
Yeah.
But since there is a clock tower, then Farah becomes the queen of this point. Because what she's doing, you can do to them too, with better position.
Okay. Yeah.
I also have the feeling that you focus too much on Farah, and you never consider other target than Farah in the first place.
I've been told before, like when I play ATN against a Pharaoh, my focus should be only on the Pharaoh.
Okay. Well, that
So
that
that's why.
that that has a lot of problems attached with it because, as I told you before, right, Afara cannot push if the tanks don't make a space.
Yeah.
What happens if you destroy the tank as a Mcree? If you focus so hard on the shield that they cannot push,
And the Pharaoh will don't have the space to
the
work with.
exactly. Playing against Farah doesn't mean that you need to chase the Farah like a dog. Why? Because you're wasting so much time and damage and effort and everything in order to try to kill a target that can dance with you around the clock tower.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The the the, the thing is there is a relationship between Hitscan and Farah, right? Which is if the Hitscan has the space, the Farah can never contest this space. But the moment the Hitscan dies, the Farah is free.
Yeah.
This means that it's not because the Hitscan can kill the Farah, it's because for the Farah to kill the Hitscan, she needs to go in the open, which is extremely different and completely the opposite reasoning that you are following right now. You are trying to be an active threat by chasing her, and she's dodging you. But your mental or your mindset should be around. I'm a constant threat to everything, and Farah needs to go into my playground in order to kill me.
Okay.
Make
So
sense?
I should yeah. So I should care less for the Pharaoh at this point and try to deny the tank space.
The thing is, you are, for example, you are on the backline shooting. The Farah picks, boom, shot. The Farah hides, go back to the tanks. Every single time that the Farah tries to do something, you are there to say, hey, wait, hold on, I'm here.
Yeah.
But you don't actively, you are not chasing her. Is that I have my position, I have my long range position, I have my sidelines covered. No one is going to flank me, no one is going to surprise me. So I'm this constant DPS turret all the time,
Okay.
right? So if the Farah wants to deal with me, right,
She
she
needs
needs
to
to
come
deal
to
with the
me.
tanks. If she doesn't, if she can't, or if my tanks go back, right, one of the ways I can Valdez defended here, and it doesn't matter if you have a fire or not because it's about the Hanzo. Is you always defend this with tanks, this
Yeah.
triangle.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you defend these corners, the fire can deal damage from here, right?
True. Yeah.
Correct. But what happens if you defend here?
Then she
How
can
how
peek and
can
shoot and
Farah
peek and shoot.
exactly? How can Farah shoot at this Orisa? She needs to pick, right?
Yeah.
If you play here, for example, let's say that you play in this balcony,
Mm-hmm.
your line of sight will be something like this,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that if your tanks play under your line of sight, in a way that obviously because Farah's line of sight will be something like this, right? So this leaves you in a position like, hey, Margarita can play around here. If there is a place in this gray area, in this black area, the damage that they have is not is irrelevant because the Farah cannot pick because you are covering, and she can never risk the fact that you hit double headshot or triple headshot. At this range, it will be triple headshot,
Okay. Yeah.
right? But you never give up the position of control that you have because the moment the moment it's like in like the representation in Counter Strike. In Counter Strike, your representation is something like this, right? And when you move, this cone of vision moves with you. So whenever you move, your cone of vision is moving. So you might be in a position where you cannot support your tanks anymore,
Okay. Yeah.
right? But if you are a constant position, if you are a turret, then this Pharah can never jump into your tanks.
Okay.
And the big threat is, hey, the Mcree is still alive, so I cannot get any closer or I die. Here, for example, you need to be extremely careful because she can use the castle. Right
Yeah.
now, you're looking above. There she is. If this was me, I will come from below. I will literally walk down here, jump from here, and kill you instantly. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is because you are not in a good position. You don't know where the fire is. This is a bit forgivable because you are not you're coming from the spawn, right? And this should be a team effort
Yeah.
to clean castle. This is in a situation where you always need to focus the fire. This is good. Your team is winning on the ground. There you go. So this is good. And you know you now we go back to square one. You have the control, right? Let's see how you manage this control against a Farah. What are you looking for here? What are you waiting? Are you hiding?
Uh, I was more like a high noon from the back. I guess it's where
Your
usually
Hanzo,
works.
for some reason, your Hanzo is playing in Narnia, and you're hiding so you don't do damage.
Okay.
Like the most important thing here is control the choke point, control the objective, control the map. Don't the high noon plays. For example, you have, if I remember correctly, you have a Baptiste, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to make again. This is the result of you trying to make a solo queue play. Why would you hide when you can say, okay, when I high noon, you lamp me, okay?
Yeah.
So you don't need to try to make value because what this happened, why this happened is you lost your front line because there was no DPS, right? So you hold, you couldn't hold the space because against the tanks. So the Pharah can again move forward in, right? Right now, your choke point, right? Again, it's your choke point. You can pressure the way they pressured you on the first place, but you don't do it because you are trying to make a plan, which is it doesn't make sense. You can get shielded, you can get lamped, you can get protected, you can get everything. And at the end of the day, you don't need a six-man high noon. The idea of your high noon here is if the Mercy commits a mistake and Guardian's Angels high in the air, from whatever distance you can high noon and kill her. But you are not looking for a six-man high noon fight winning ult and the moment of your life. We need to be practical here,
Yeah.
right? We don't use ultimates to make big plays. We use ultimates for what they are, which is right now kill Pharah Mercy or at least Mercy. You kill Fire Mercy or Mercy with Hainu, and this Hainu has given you a fight. All
Okay.
you need. It's all you need.
So we basically lost because I wasn't with the tanks in the
You
front.
and the other DPS. The other DPS also isn't clean
Okay.
because he was playing extremely away from the team.
Yeah. Okay.
But always remember the choke points, right? If you have to dragon, if you have to whatever do anything that's AOE, area of effect again,
Yeah.
you need to rotate all together. These guys had to rotate all together. If you have to dragon, if you have to use flags, if you use anything, it's always going to be more effective if the enemy team is all together in a choke point than if they are all spread, right? You realize that, right?
Yeah.
So here, oof, okay. You should this is you should be going. You took your time, okay, which is fine. You made a space with the dragon, which is good. Go high ground. Go high ground right here. If you go high ground, you kill the Swara right now, and right immediately, right now, from the high ground, like 10 meters behind you, you
Yeah.
press Q. The moment right now, this is the moment. You press Q, you went into the immortality field, don't need to, and you kill the Valkyrie.
So high noon to kill the Valk. That's a good thing
Yeah,
in this point. Okay.
that's not maximum value. Obviously, maximum value will kill 6 people, but it's value, which is good. Like you use one ultimate and you counter one ultimate and you kill the target, which is good.
Okay.
That's value.
Okay.
Rule number one in Akenwald: you never fight like this. This is something that people have been modifying over time. Sometimes in this game, like the defensive spots are preset more or less, and sometimes it's better for the defense to actually give 20 meters for free in order to have a better defensive spot. For example, this is an example. Instead of you fighting on the bridge and
Yeah.
you being the one that can be booped, usually the defenders in this point they give a point, they give a choke point, sorry, a bridge always, and they defend here, in the very same pixel where the bridge
The
ends.
lion is. Yeah. Okay.
So why do they do this? Because it forces the enemy team to be the one fighting in the bridge,
Yeah.
which means that the environmental threat is for them, not for you.
Okay. Yeah. Fair point.
But here you realize that a good concussion blast can kill three of you right now because you are playing literally in the worst possible spot.
So we could play. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good combo. One of the things that you don't do at all, especially as a team, and and in consequence you don't do either, is to take map control. Whenever
Okay.
whenever you kill them, you have the control of the castle of everything. But for some reason you defend the point. Going back to the analogies, is the same example as if the 300 Spartans, instead of defending at the choke point, right, they went back to the village and said, "Okay, we defend here now." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Against 1 million against 1 million Persians, you are going to get overrun. Thing is, there is no rule in this game that tells you, "Hey, I need to defend on the objective." This is an old rule from the dive era, right? Because dive will send a tracer to touch the objective, and then the whole pressure that you had on the choke point was gone because you need to protect the objective. But they have no tracer, they have nothing, they have a Pharah. There is no way they go and touch the payload. So why do you defend it instead of just going into the choke point and playing in a position which is way better for you? You are right now you are not developing the map as a team. You are not controlling the three lanes. You are not taking the space from the enemy team. You are the one that right now, just because the way you are playing, you are getting cornered and surrounded, and susceptible of being crossfired. Just because you didn't move at all.
Okay.
You realize, right? Right now your back is against the corner. There is
Yeah.
nothing that you can do. I will honestly, I will be clenching my butt if I were playing in that position. Like right now against the Farah playing here, holy fucking shit. I will be extremely nervous because I can get concussed any second.
Oh yeah, wait, they switched off the ferry. They're playing May instead. May
Oh, they
Hanzo.
have no mate. Okay. Sorry, no Farah. Anyway, I will will
Yeah,
be
still
clenching my.
the Orisa pool.
So right now, go and take the position again. Go take the not this one. You're just moving across. You're moving alongside the objective instead of just moving and saying, okay, this is the best defensive spot. The fact that the objective is here doesn't matter,
To
right?
like
Because
move like forward more or
yeah, like
move back.
here, go back to this fight
Okay, yeah,
because look at this. Oops. Let's say that again, right? You leave the objective here,
yeah.
and they are playing this no flanking comp, right? So you come here and you defend this.
Okay,
You win next fight. This objective going back, and now it's here.
yeah.
You win the next fight. This objective is coming back, and now it's here. You win the next fight, and then suddenly you win three fights, and the objective is back to square one. And then you lose one, and instead of only needing this space to cap, they need to do the whole
Around
point.
again.
So all they did in the previous 3 minutes or 2 minutes is worthless. Didn't exist.
So instead of just hold the point like on the bridge, we just move up and play like we played the first fight when they took the point from the first start.
Correct. When do you stop from doing this? When they have a flanker,
Yeah, like
obviously, right? You
yeah,
defend here, and the objective is here, and they have a sombra, and you just got C9. Then is when you need to defend the objective. A tracer.
yeah,
But if they don't have anything of that, as long as the Lucio keeps an eye because of, I don't know, Reaper TP, or I don't know, someone hides and goes for the C9, as long as the Lucio is aware of it, the whole team can play around here. And then you have
okay,
high ground control, you have choke point control, etc. etc.
okay, yeah,
There are two rules, right? The first one says that you don't need to fight in the point, you need to fight where your heroes are good.
yeah,
And then the second one is there is no rule that says there is no it needs to be a 6 versus 6 fight, right? For example, you see a player that's alone that rotates, you know, the first one makes a mistake, you have to kill him,
yeah.
right? You don't need to, okay, that guy is here, but let's wait for six, right?
I should have high noon there.
Mm,
And
indeed.
like,
It's just
I heard some like pro players that like ex pro players. They say like when the Sigma uses flux on you, take the chance to like high noon because the
yeah.
team could be like vulnerable.
The thing I was focusing on, I didn't honestly, I didn't realize you had high noon.
Yeah,
I was
that is something I
focusing,
noticed.
I was focusing on, uh, like putting myself in your shoes, like because right, the way you're playing is so oppressive for a hitscan, right? One of the heroes I used to play was Soldier 76 back in 6 on 4 when
Yeah,
I was an active player, and for example, playing a hitscan in such a close space is something that is like oppresses me, right? What's the English word for a fear to super close spaces?
Claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia. Okay, there we go. It's like a bit of a claustrophobia
okay,
because right now, like one of the golden rules of a head scan is you want to have a field of view as wide as possible so you can switch targets, if that makes sense, right? You want,
yeah,
even if your range is 7 to 15 meters, you want to play around 15 meters because you want to weaken people enough so by the time they reach you, you want to kill this May before the May reaches you, right?
yeah,
You want to destroy shields before the Sigma. The way you're playing right now, you're playing super close to the team. You're playing in the middle of the fight, which means that if you play that range, for example, let's say here this is a really bad position for you, but let's say that you play here, okay?
yeah,
With this line of sight, the only thing that you will do is just do a slight move for of the mouse, and you will be switching targets. So this one to this one to this one to this one,
yeah.
because you are at range and you can cover all of them. When you are in the middle of the targets of the enemy targets, you need to switch or you need to do complete flicks and camera rolls in order to switch one target to another. Which means that first of all, your DPS is not consistent, and second of all, you don't have a clear information about what's the state of the fight because you only can look at one, maybe two targets at once, but you don't know what's happening on your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone is about to focus you. If you need to dodge, yeah, that's information you don't have. Play here though, you can see everything at the cost maybe of doing less damage. Yes, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to lose the fight because 300 less damage from you. Because if you play like this, your chances of dying are way way higher, which means that you are going to last less in the fight, which means that you are going to less do less damage.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It does. I was thinking if I would be like on the high ground on the bridge there instead of in the middle of the chaos, would that be like a better positioning than the one I am in right now?
Definitely, if your tanks are playing the corner.
Okay.
If your tanks are playing below you, then no. That's why sometimes you need to be selfish.
Yeah. Okay.
Selfish. Okay, I, I'm the guy of the grandpa of stories, right? And one of my stories, one of the first book I read when I started coaching was I don't know if you know him, but it's called Richard Dawkins, writer. I think he's from UK actually, and he wrote an essay, a biology essay. This guy biology essay, what the fuck is going on? Called The Selfish Gene, right? And it's actually a book that is super heavy. It's completely boring, but actually I recommend it to everyone
Okay.
that's in sport in esports world. Why? Because what that theory says is about the competition of cells in a competitive environment in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
If you think it deeply, that's evolution,
Yeah.
right? The current shape of the human being or the Homo erectus or whatever it is, we only reach this point based on competition among other races and killing them or surviving against them. And in this world, for example, the esports world or the sports world, or even life, because at the end of the day, life is a competition too.
Yeah.
Being selfish is not being greedy is something bad, but being selfish is not something bad, right?
Yeah.
For example, if you have a good position, if you have a good play, you know, hey, this is a good spot for my Mcree.
Mm-hmm.
Can we play around me? You are taking the responsibility, but you are also being selfish in the sense of I want the resources on me because I know for my character this is a good place.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's basically what the what the what the this book says, right? The cells, there are two type of cells, right? Obviously, for example, and I know this is a bit of a off topic, right? But it's really important, right?
Yeah.
For example, sharing food with homeless people, right, is
Yeah.
something that is a good thing in the eyes of community, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have food to sustain yourself, right, or if that homeless people can become a threat to you,
Yeah.
you don't share food with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, within the context of a competitive environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you will gladly let them, uh, the less competition you have, the better for you.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Right? Obviously, I don't want to go forward because this is such a great topic, right? But you get the grasp of the idea,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you need to step down and accept that, hey, you need to play around someone else. But sometimes you need to step up and ask for resources on yourself
Okay. Yeah.
and let the team, hey, can you play around me? Just play around me. Like literally, the call is play around me.
Yeah. Okay.
Just feel for me. Just hey, if someone is going to attack me, just kill him or stop him because I'm in such a good position that it's impossible. If I die, we lose. If I don't die, we win.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's unfortunate, and this is why you don't fight on the bridge.
Yeah.
Huh? That was unfortunate. You played this fairly decent. You played this fairly decent, but if your Orisa will have been playing, because if she deploys a new shield, you can hide on behind the shield,
Yeah.
not to kill anyone, but just to win 7 seconds for your team to come. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are
To
going to
make
hide,
space.
they are
Yeah.
going to hide behind the payload, but they are not going to shoot back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I will have played this differently. The moment you see this and the moment you see them looking at the other side, I will just roll and try to kill the Hanzo
Okay. Yeah.
and maybe suicide, but never like. I mean, you kill the Mei, which is good. Such a difficult situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there is a correct answer for you to do here. Like in terms of concept, like I will try to or get a couple kills because you can get a couple kills, or just wait as much as you can until someone touches the point. In that situation between you and Baptiste, who touches the point is Baptiste, not you.
Okay.
And now, okay, all right. This is so close of being well. It's kind of unlucky.
Yeah, I know that the ceiling were there. Yeah, I said it to myself. I was like, fucking hell. I would have pressed a little bit earlier.
No, it's just how the flux works. It's
Oh,
when you're in this type of buildings, this is what it is.
I will still manage.
So here, Mcree is not a great hero, but definitely this place is not the best place for you to play.
Okay. You
This
mean
is
like
another example. This is another example. Why? Because, I mean, you even have not only you don't have high ground advantage, you have high ground disadvantage. You're playing below the stairs.
yeah? Should I go behind and like on the high
That's
ground
the
that's behind me?
that's the problem. You can go there, but the
The
distance will
damage
be
fall
so
off.
big that the damage fall off will be there. So here is again another situation where you want the team to pressure forward, so you can play around here. You can play around here,
Okay.
right? You play your team pushes like this. You play around here, so you can cover this, you can cover this, and you can cover this. Again, something I didn't mention, but it's really important. Again, a hit scan, the best position for a hit scan is a position that helps him cover the three lanes. In this situation, he can you can cover one, you can cover two, and you can cover three. If you cover the three lanes, no one, without you knowing, obviously, no one is going to reach you and put you in a position where you don't want to be. Example, a Genji flanking. Example, a Tracer flanking. Example, someone hiding, crouching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have control of the three axes, which means that every single fight that happens is going to be under your line of sight, which is good for you and for your team. Here, the problem is the only thing you have to or you can do is to shoot shields.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Do you see when you respect? This is such a good play. This is such a good play, and this is something that you should be doing all the time. So you see how you are right now. What you are doing, you are respecting the tempo. The Doomfist goes in. I'm going back. I keep in this space. Doomfist goes. I kill the Doomfist. Do you see how the fight is always happening under your line of sight? How
Yeah.
consistent your damage is.
Yeah.
This is what you want from a hit scan,
Okay. Yeah.
and then you end up finishing off the fight. That's it. Every single fight, even if it's a massive trade, ends up with you standing still and finishing off the fight is because you played that correctly. You see why, right?
Yeah.
Because
I think so at least.
a hit scan, the only downtime that hit scan has is his reload time. In 30 seconds, you can do 1k damage. In 1 minute, you can do 3k damage. And if the fight goes for 20 minutes, you can do 1 million damage. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because you don't. It will be different if we had ammo in this game, but we don't. You have infinite ammo. So a Soldier 76, for example, his range of damage is constant. Boom, 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 all the time. Boom, boom. The only downtime is a reload.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. The only downtime you have is reloading, and that's so consistent that the longer the fight lasts, the more chance, and you are still alive, the more chances of you killing people, finishing off targets, because the resources of a team gets low. They have no shields, no cooldown, no speed. Moira gets run down, no healing. Multiple things happens, but for you, it's only reloading. It's only reloading. So the longer you last in a fight, if this means that hey, I need to do 10% less damage, but my position is much better
Yeah.
in order to survive, so be it. This is why playing around a hit scan is so important, because as long as you can position in a place where they cannot reach you, right? There is your team between you and them,
Yeah.
and you cover your team at the same time, you can be so much impactful.
Like the last fight there.
Like this fight, for example, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
then I think 7. So again, extremely sorry for the delay. I want to apologize again.
Yeah.
Um, second hour tomorrow. How do we do it?
Um, so it would probably be either Ed or Sponk, depending on who can make it. At what time would be good for yourself?